Bitcoin is safe. It's dependable. It's the most secure network in the world, strongest network in the world, and it's only growing stronger. Yes, the price is volatile because it's in the middle of the adoption phase. The volatility will dampen, but the most important thing is even through that volatility, it's volatile to the upside. So as it's being adopted, it finds these pockets of price discovery where it just jumps really quickly and stays there. It jumped from 60,000 to 100,000. It jumped from 100,000 to 120,000. It just does that. It just stays there, and then it has a massive drawdown. Again, because it gets way ahead of itself. And in an adoption phase of a technology like this, you're going to find that. And you had it in Amazon back in 1998, 1999, when it went down 95%. But if you look at a chart of Amazon now, it looks like a tiny little speed bump in the price because it's been adopted so rapidly and massively since then that you barely see it. So, and that's what is the same thing with Bitcoin. You could look back at older charts and it barely registers on a dollar basis.
Bitcoin is moving in waves that lift its floor higher every cycle. And the next wave will not stop until it redefines wealth on a global scale. That's the latest message from James Lavish, Chartered Financial Analyst, a finance educator, and the managing partner of the Bitcoin Opportunity Fund. Each cycle, the drawdowns look brutal, but Bitcoin never returns to its old levels. Instead, it locks in higher ground before the next surge. Lavish warns that the coming wave will be unlike anything seen before, powerful enough to change the definition of wealth itself. In his view, Bitcoin's growth trajectory is clear, and as he and Lynn Alden have said, nothing stops this train. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video, as James Lavish makes his case for why Bitcoin's rise is unstoppable.
What we've been talking about this whole time is the problem of debasement of currency, meaning they must inflate away the debt across the world. All developed nations who issue debt in their own currency is doing that. They're going to continue doing that, continue to soft default in perpetuity. The inflation numbers that they admit to are not real, and it's worse than that. The inflation of assets around the world is much more closely tied to the expansion of the money supply, expansion of leverage, liquidity. Okay. So, and they need to continue that. So what is Bitcoin? Well, I would think of Bitcoin like digital gold. The difference is it's on chain and it's perfectly auditable. Okay. You can see who owns what, as long as you know, if you have the know your customer aspect of it, whatever this is why terrorist organizations are telling their donors or users, don't give us Bitcoin because they could see it. We don't want, it's all publicly viewable on chain. Anyway, perfectly auditable. So if you say that you have a certain amount of money in a wallet that is in escrow, for instance, for a transaction, you can see exactly what's in there on the time chain. You can't do that with gold. Gold is problematic. You have it. If you have physical gold that's stored in a vault somewhere, maybe in the Bank of England, maybe in Switzerland, then it might be like it happened to JP Morgan, $50 million worth of gold-plated nickel. You have to literally cut into the bar, or you do physical tests on it, chemical tests on it to see that it's real. Not with Bitcoin. You know exactly what it is. It's also so easily transferable. It is. It would take you weeks or months to move $1 billion of gold across the world because you can't just send it on an airplane. You need people and trucks and drivers and armored vehicles and security and boats, and it would take you a long time to move $1 billion of gold. You can move $1 billion of Bitcoin in 10 minutes. Done. One person to another for a fraction of the cost, for a few dollars, as opposed to however, millions of dollars it would cost to move that much gold. So that's number two. Number three is it's perfectly decentralized, meaning that it started out and grew organically, and it's governed by nodes that are decentralized across the world. And so those nodes govern the code, and they govern whether a transaction goes through. And if a false transaction tries to be put through, that node gets kicked off there you go, my node. It's kicked off, mine is back over there. It gets kicked off the database, or it gets kicked off the network. So that prevents something called the double spend problem, where I could tell you I sent you my Bitcoin, and tell him I sent him my Bitcoin, and send them both the same Bitcoin and get, it's not possible with Bitcoin. They'll just kick you off the network. And it's unchangeable. So once I do send you that Bitcoin, it's yours. That's it. It's immutable. I can't, renege on it. So these are all, and then of course the biggest thing is it's scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoin that are ever going to be made. That's it. And so for people worrying that there's not enough Bitcoin to go around, well, each Bitcoin can be split into 100 million pennies. So imagine a bar of gold that's worth now $100,000 that can be split 100 million times. There's plenty of it to go around. I mean, all the gold in the world, from what I've heard, could fit under the Eiffel Tower. So look, there's plenty of Bitcoin to go around, okay, and it could sustain, all of the demand for it in transactions too. So now you're saying, well, why wouldn't somebody just build another Bitcoin? Well, like I said, it grew organically, so those nodes are decentralized. There's no one person who controls that network. Even Satoshi, if he came back, he can't do anything. So yeah, he's got 1 million Bitcoin, but he can't change that time chain and the governance of it. It's perfectly decentralized. It's like having, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of members on the board that, they're all incentivized to do the same thing, keep the network pure. So what about that network? Well, can't it just be hacked? Can't it just be broken? Well, the Bitcoin network is backed by all the miners and all the hash and all that powers the network is backed by 80 terabytes of energy. So terawatt hours of energy. So 80 terawatt hours of energy. So for people who aren't scientists or electricians, that's the equivalent of the power of 21 full-scale nuclear reactors running 24/7. So that makes it nation state level resistant. And so Bitcoin is safe, it's dependable, it's the most secure network in the world, strongest network in the world, and it's only growing stronger. So it's like a digital gold super upgrade. And so, yes, the price is volatile because it's in the middle of the adoption phase. The volatility will dampen, but the most important thing is even through that volatility, it's volatile to the upside. So as it's being adopted, it finds these pockets of price discovery where it just jumps really quickly and stays there. It jumped from 60,000 to 100,000. It jumped from 100,000 to 120,000. It just does that. It just stays there, and then it has a massive drawdown again, because it gets way ahead of itself. And in an adoption phase of a technology like this, you're going to find that. And you had it in Amazon back in 1998, 1999, when it went down 95%. But if you look at a chart of Amazon now, it looks like a tiny little speed bump in the price because it's been adopted so rapidly and massively since then that you barely see it. So, and that's what is the same thing with Bitcoin. You could look back at older charts and it barely registers on a dollar basis. That's what I tell people. It's digital gold. It's a digital gold upgrade. And so I have more conviction in Bitcoin as an investment and as a secure asset than anything I've ever been involved in my 30 years in Wall Street, and it's not even close. So the risk reward for this asset to me is compelling, and it's something that I intend to be involved in for a very long time.
As Lavish explains, the main issue the global economy is dealing with right now is debasement. Governments must inflate away their debt, and they will keep soft defaulting forever. The official inflation numbers they put out are not the reality, and asset inflation is far more tied to money supply and leverage. That's why the world needs Bitcoin. It is digital gold, but unlike gold, it is perfectly auditable on-chain, instantly transferable, and impossible to counterfeit. Its decentralized network, secured by energy on the scale of nuclear reactors, makes it nation-state resistant. With only 21 million coins ever, Lavish sees Bitcoin as the strongest hedge against endless debasement and the most compelling risk-reward in finance.
Ultimately, what people are going to understand is that Bitcoin it will become so stable. Of course, we're in the adoption phase. It has volatility. It's going to continue to be volatile for a while, but eventually that volatility calms down and acts much more like gold. And, it'll actually be even better than that because gold still has this ongoing, supply issue. Not issuance of supply. You mine more gold, price goes up, mine more gold. Bitcoin price goes up, you can't mine more Bitcoin. You're getting what you get. That's it. The difficulty adjustment will change for the amount of people who are trying to mine it to protect against that. So that's the thing, is that it will become so stable as a protection of your wealth that it'll be better than bonds, because bonds, and people will recognize that, and bonds return an interest rate, yes, but it's just a stable form of income, and so there's a need for that. So I'm not saying bonds will go away, but I'm saying that it'll strengthen certain currencies like the US dollar, especially if the US government takes and puts Bitcoin on its balance sheet. If it starts creating this reserve that they're talking about, yeah, they've got some in there, but it's an eyebrow hair compared to the amount of assets they have, the amount of liabilities they have. So I do believe that they're going to do that at some point, and when they do, that will help strengthen the dollar, because the dollar, the worry about is hyperinflation eventually in all these currencies. And I know that people are listening, they're thinking the dollar's been the main currency forever. No, it hasn't. It has not been the main currency forever. We've had countless currencies fail over thousands of years. This is the latest experiment. The latest experiment is, let's just put everything on paper and keep, borrowing against it, and just expanding that amount of paper that we issue, so each of them is worth less every single day. That's this fiat system, this MMT, modern monetary theory system, is not working. It's getting worse. It is that balloon that Gary Cardone had described, that is going to pop. It is going to pop at some point, unless we stabilize it. I think that Bitcoin can be a stabilizing force as an anti-inflationary asset that can back some of these things. It can back bonds. If you have that backing bonds, then you're gonna continue having the world reserve currency and the world reserve asset, the treasury, in perpetuity, because people are going to want to deal in dollars, and they're going to want to save in treasuries and Bitcoin, and that's the hope. Again, there are two different use cases for those.
James Lavish believes that Bitcoin's volatility is only temporary because it's still in its adoption phase. Normally, in the adoption phase, swings are sharp. Bitcoin will stabilize over time, eventually becoming even more reliable than gold. Because unlike gold, new Bitcoin supply cannot be mined when the price rises. 21 million coins is all there will ever be. Lavish argues that this scarcity will make Bitcoin a better protector of wealth than bonds. If the US government adds Bitcoin to its balance sheet, it could strengthen the dollar, back treasuries, and secure reserve currency status for decades. In his view, Bitcoin is the ultimate stabilizing force against inflation. The question is he correct? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, trusted by over 90,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed in the crypto market. The link is in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed today's video and that it gave you some value. I'll see you all at the next one, and as always, all the best.